Hi, we already know quite a bit about lighting in marine aquariums. Unfortunately, despite advancements in the lighting technology, we still lack a light source that could be considered as perfect. Each available technology has its advantages and disadvantages, so it is no surprise that aquarists use hybrid solutions. Today, LED technology is developing the fastest, and indeed, well-designed lamps yield really good results in terms of coral growth and appearance. Today, I will take a look at a new lamp available on the market, the MicMol AquaMax 600 model. The manufacturer's website mentions three types of lamps in this series: 600, 900 and 1200, which correspond to the lamp's length. As far as I understand, the 600 and 900 models are currently available, while the 1200 model is expected to be released later this year. This video will consist of several parts. Firstly, I will do a quick unboxing. Then, I will discuss the lamp's construction and capabilities. As expected, the box containing the lamp doesn't include many components. Inside the box, you will find the lamp, power supply, cables, suspension wires, and a simple startup guide. It's worth noting that excellent protection for the lamp, which, in addition to foam, is also covered in plastic film. As you can see, the lamp itself has a very sleek profile. It's thin, 60 cm long, 30 cm wide, and weighs 6 kilos. On top, there is a stylish grille covering the heatsink, along with two fans that, when needed, force additional airflow. The lamp features a function button located on its short side. You can use the button to reset the lamp, switch it on and off, toggle between auto and manual modes, and activate pairing mode. The underside of the lamp is lined with LED diodes organized into 4 channels, each of which can be controlled individually via an app available for Android and iPhone. The first channel is white light, which can be considered equivalent to a daylight. The remaining 3 channels are generally blue, with shorter wavelengths as you move further along with channels. According to what I found on the manufacturer's website, the AquaMax 900 lamp can cover an aquarium up to 110 cm long, while the AquaMax 600 can cover up to 80 cm. For my 150 cm long aquarium, I decided to use two 60 cm lamps. I think that's enough for you to get an idea of how the lamp looks, and you're probably eager to see in action above the aquarium. But before I hang the lamp, I'd like to say a few words about why I'm only now switching from my T5 lamp to LED lamp. I've approached LED lighting many times over the past several years, but I was always returning to T5 fluorescent lights. The biggest issue I've seen is the size of the LED panel. A single lamp with a small panel causes the light to be in a cone shape, which means that corals not directly under the light will be only illuminated from one side. This is of course less of an issue for LPS corals whose tentacles sway, but branching stony corals end up being lit in a natural way. Another drawback of point source lighting is that it creates a lot of shaded areas, which in my opinion looks unnatural. Of course, this can be mitigated by using more lamps, but that significantly increases the cost of purchasing them. Therefore, the only LED lamps I would personally consider are those with large panels, like the MicMol lamp I'm currently reviewing. Another potential issue with LED lighting, in my opinion, is the so-called disco effect, which refers to colorful flickers on the aquarium floor. I find this effect extremely unnatural when you see dancing red, green or blue colors on the white sand. And these are the main reasons why I have stayed away from LED lighting for so long. Let's see how the MicMol lamp performs in this regard. Mounting the lamp was relatively easy, as I already had hanging brackets from my previous light. Once it is up, the lamps looked really impressive. Next, I measured the power levels using an Apogee 510 meter. To be clear, I took measurements with all channels set to 100% on both lamps, focusing on areas directly lit. I didn't measure shaded areas. Ideally, to get accurate power values, I'd need to do this in an empty tank, but I hope this gives you some insight into lamp's actual light output in par. At this point, I initially planned to wrap up with a quick summary, but I realized this would make this video incomplete, so I decided to wait 2-3 weeks to give you a proper conclusion based on real-world experience with the MicMol lamp. So here I am, though it took a bit longer than 2 weeks. The lamp has now been hanging for nearly 3 months, and I'm glad that I waited to make this summary because I've learned a lot about the AquaMax lamp. To provide a fair assessment, I will break it down into a few sections, each rated from 0 to 10 points. Section 1, the quality of the light. Section 2, the quality of the app. Section 3, the ease or comfort of use. And Section 4, the overall rating. Overall, I am very satisfied with the both color and intensity of the light. Admittedly, taking photos under LED lighting, especially with a strong blue tint, is very tricky, but visually it looks great to my eyes. Although the lamp could use a bit more of the white channel. Here is a photo of the aquarium under the previous T5 lighting compared to the MicMol lamps. I give it 9 out of 10. Here things are a bit less impressive. The app isn't the most user-friendly. For starters, there is no proper manual available. Yes, you can find some partial tutorials for other MicMol lights online, but not everything applies to the AquaMax. For example, according to the app, there is an option to link both lamps and control them together. While I managed to do so, it only worked for about 2 minutes. Further attempts to link them didn't work. Don't get me wrong, you can still use the lamp, but it would be handy to have control over both lamps simultaneously. So, MicMol, if you're watching this, please provide a clear instruction of how to pair 2 or more lamps to get a stable link. Setting sunrise and sunset curves is also cumbersome. It gets easier once you get an idea of how it's been designed, but it is still quite a tedious process. And there is no option to export and import your settings externally, so resetting the lamp means going through the whole setup process again. Fortunately, the lamp does remember its settings when unplugged, so I only had to set it up once and it's been working fine ever since. There is also an issue with the moonlight mode. Sometimes I simply cannot turn it off on my setup. Even when it is off in the app, some LEDs glow faintly. Fortunately, it is very subtle and looks quite natural, but if I want to turn off the lamp completely, I have to unplug them. My rating here is 6 out of 10. Once you get through the initial setup, the lamp produces really nice light. However, there is one problem: the fans. They don't adjust based on the lamp's temperature and run constantly at full speed. During the day, it's not too noticeable, but in the evenings, they are clearly audible even when the lamp is running at 5%. Of course, a marine tank isn't a silent hobby, with skimmers, pumps and other equipment producing background noise. Thankfully, the fans don't run at night, even when the lamp is in a moonlight mode. I've reported this to MicMol and they are aware of the issue, and apparently quiet fan kits will be available soon for DIY replacement. My rating here is 7 out of 10. I know my feedback is highly subjective, and some of these issues may not bother everyone. Ultimately, what matters the most is how the corals respond, and I have to say that in my case they reacted really well to the new light. So much so that after 2 weeks I had to recalibrate the dosing pumps because I couldn't believe how much calcium and alkalinity consumption had increased. My final rating here is 8 out of 10. MicMol, if you are watching this, I hope you will address the 2 biggest issues, the noisy fans and the app's usability. If you do, I will happily give 10 out of 10.